Mr. Philip Aroko, for the violation, is hereby condemned to pay a fine of Kenya shillings 1 million to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission within 48 hours of these orders.
Kasipul race gets hotter. IEBC fines candidates Boyd Were and Philip Aroko 1 million shillings each for violating campaign laws. Countdown to November 27th. Political campaigns intensify in Barra North and Magarini constituencies as UDA and the opposition flex all their muscles. Murder in South B. Police in Nairobi investigate a gruesome murder of a middle-aged man in Nairobi's South B estate. And Kenya to have an updated maternal and neonatal mortality data by March 2026. This is KBC Prime Edition. Many thanks for making time for us. I'm Doreen. Arange Lusimora is our sign language interpreter. We begin on that political note where political actors continue to traverse the country the better part of Wednesday as campaigns for the November 27th by-elections intensified. In Barra North in Embu County, Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki campaigned for the United Democratic Alliance candidate Leonard Wamuthende, assuring residents that the government will complete all ongoing development projects. At the coast, Mining and Blue Economy Cabinet Secretary Ali Hassan Joho led rallies in Magarini constituency, drumming up support for ODM's Harrison Kombe, saying the by-election will determine the region's political direction and strengthen its bargaining power at the national level. As the clock ticks to the November 27th by-elections, campaigns are gaining momentum, with contesting parties making strong pitches to the electorate. In Barra North constituency, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki led a vigorous push to rally support for UDA's Leonard Wamuthende, assuring residents of government's commitment to completing all ongoing development projects, even in previously marginalized areas.
Na waomba kwa unyenyekevu mchague Mheshimiwa Leonard Muriuki Wamuthende.
Kindiki went on the offensive against the opposition, accusing them of spreading threats and insults.
Kwanza, heshimu viongozi na wananchi wa Mbeere North na wananchi na viongozi wa Mount Kenya na wananchi na viongozi wa Kenya.
At the coast, Mining, Fisheries and Blue Economy Cabinet Secretary Ali Hassan Joho led a high-powered ODM team through Sabaki, Marafa and Chamara in a spirited campaign for ODM's Harrison Kombe. Joho told residents that the Magarini by-elections will shape the political future of the entire coast region, arguing that a win for Kombe will strengthen the region's bargaining power.
Vita si Harry Kombe peke yake. Vita, it is about our future. About our future.
The November 27th by-elections comprises contests in 6 constituencies, namely Barra North, Magarini, Kasipul, Malava, Banissa and Ugunja constituencies and several wards. And Kenya will have the exact maternal and neonatal mortality data by March 2026 to help respond to the rising cases. This comes after the Ministry of Health alleged that some facilities have not been reporting the deaths. President William Ruto made the remarks during the flagging off of ambulances and medical equipment valued at $2.5 million, a donation by World Health Organization.
On Wednesday morning at State House, Nairobi, the head of state, William Ruto, received 14 fully equipped ambulances and 8 advanced life support units that will strengthen the national emergency response, a donation by the World Health Organization.
Today, handover includes 14 fully equipped ambulances, 8 advanced life supporting units to strengthen the national Emergency Ambulance Service Center, and the 999 system. 6 ambulances dedicated to reproductive and maternal health services in underdeserved counties, where distance and delay too often cost lives.
This support goes to the heart of our universal health coverage agenda, advancing safe pregnancies, healthy mothers, thriving newborns, and responsive systems.
As maternal and neonatal deaths are on the rise, 6 ambulances have been dispatched to the counties of Tana River, Garissa, Samburu, Marsabit, Siaya, and Elgeyo Marakwet, which have a high burden.
Last, when I was confronted in New York by a good friend of Kenya who asked me, Mr. President, how is it acceptable in Kenya that upwards of 300 mothers and children die in our facilities?
Other advanced life support ambulances have been deployed to the 7 national referral hospitals and the National Emergency Response Center.
Each ambulance, each oxygen cylinder, each emergency kit tells a story. A mother who takes care of herself in time, a child whose life is protected, a health worker who responds well when every minute matters.
The president called for daily data entry of all maternal and neonatal deaths across health facilities.
I know that there are facilities that continue to hide data on mothers who die or children who die in hospitals. We must get the data right.
He also instructed the Ministry of Health to conduct a responsible research innovation survey and provide the actual maternal and neonatal data to guide policy and donor funding.
Director General at the Ministry has given us an undertaking that by March next year, we will have the correct data on what is our performance as a country, county by county, and then we can therefore be able to respond to this big challenge effectively.
Your Excellency, I want to commit to you, under your leadership and with the UHT program that we are implementing as a country, I want to commit to you and me and my team and our Council of Governors that will do whatever it takes that no mother or child dies.
WHO further supplied essential supplies, including 6.5 million tablets for mass treatment of soil-transmitted ailments in 15 counties, targeting at least 3 million people. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Kasichana Masha.
Thank you, Masha, for that report. At Nairobi County, police are investigating the gruesome murder of a middle-aged man in South B Estate on Tuesday. Anthony Olwal had reportedly gone to make a delivery at the Meridian apartment before turning up dead hours later. Police say the killers of the 30-year-old man are still at large, even as the family appeals for an expedited probe into the crime.
What was meant to be a routine delivery on Tuesday afternoon for Anthony Olwal, a salesman in Nairobi, turned tragic. Olwal was allegedly murdered in cold blood at the Meridian apartment in South B.
Just a young youth waking up in the morning, leaving the family, the wife and the kids, only to end up getting killed in the middle of the work.
Makarara Sub-County Police Commander Jordan Nyongesa, while confirming the incident, said the motive of the crime remains unknown.
We have 2 men wenye walikuja wakakomboa B&B, walikomboa mali inaitwa Meridian Apartments, house number 72. Then they ordered a phone online, the iPhone 17, worth 220,000. Walimuua juu kutaka kulipa ile 220,000.
According to Eunice Otieno, she unsuccessfully tried to reach her husband on phone after the delivery and sensed something was amiss.
But nilikuwa na wait for calls yoni, so nikadecide kumpigia. Hiyo harakati ya kumpigia simu yake ilikuwa inaingia mteja. Sasa nilikuwa nashindwa. Ama maybe ni network. So niliassume ni network. Kakakaa kidogo kumjaribu tena aingi. Kasema maybe alipata kazi nyingine ameenda ama maybe alipatiwa hata cash.
Olwal's body is lying at the Nairobi Funeral Home awaiting an autopsy. The family spokesperson Hezron Onyango will condemn the murder, wants the police to investigate the management of the A&B for failing to provide the details of the people who rented the premises at the time of the incident.
Why should this happen, surely? How can you admit somebody in your room without checking the details? How? This should not be, that should not, because that is an hotel. And wherever you go to the hotel, at the reception, everything is required there.
The family want the investigating team to move with speed and unravel the murder of their kin, who has left behind 3 children.
Tunaomba tu justice patikane, watoto wapate vile watakuwa. Lakini watu wametufanyia vibaya sana. Wangechukua hata hiyo simu watuachie kijana.
Sasa wameniacha mjane na watoto 3, which is not good at all. Sijafurahia hata kidogo.
We'll ask DCIs, we'll ask the police, kindly do your investigation thoroughly. We want to see justice for Anthony.
The incident comes several months after the gruesome murder of a young woman in the same neighborhood. As the family of Anthony Olwal, a 30-year-old, comes to terms with the heinous and gruesome murder of their kin, their clarion call is to the authorities to conduct thorough investigation to ensure the perpetrators are brought to book. Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition, Nairobi.
Such an unfortunate incident. And now to some education matters, the government has assured that the integrity of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE will be safeguarded as the exam period winds down this week. Education CS Julius Ogamba said that preparations for marking of the exam are underway, with center managers being tasked to reinforce operational discipline.
At the Deputy County Commissioner's office in Ruiru, Kiambu County, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba, accompanied by education officials, led the supervision of the opening of the KCSE Geography and Physics papers. The CS noted that so far, the conduct of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exams has been above board.
As the KCSE cycle concludes, preparations are now underway for the marking and the processing of results. I extend my appreciation to the teachers, the center managers, the invigilators, security personnel, and education officers for their dedication to this national exercise.
Ogamba was also keen to note that the ongoing verification exercise by the ministry regarding schools enrollment is to ensure there is fairness in distribution of resources among schools in every part of the country.
Ongoing efforts include expansion of infrastructure, targeted teacher deployment, and support for the continued implementation of the competency-based education.
And that charter, Your Excellency, is the legal document establishing the university.
Meanwhile, President William Ruto has officially awarded a charter to Amref University in Nairobi.
Since becoming a university in 2017, we have grown significantly, graduating more than 2,000 students who now serve in communities and health systems across the continent.
This charter is not a symbolic gesture. It is a recognition of excellence, integrity, and demonstrated impact. It is an acknowledgement that when institutions align purpose with action, they transform societies.
The head of state, who was speaking in Northland campus, noted that the award of the charter is a celebration of a partnership that the government and private sector are working on to ensure high standards and train graduates who contribute meaningfully to national progress.
What began as Amref International Training Center has evolved into a premier Pan-African university dedicated to training health professionals who lead with innovation, empathy, and integrity.
Opicho Chemtai for Prime Edition.
Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has ordered the Kasipul parliamentary by-elections candidates Philip Nahashon Aroko and Boyd Were to pay a fine of 1 million shillings for breaching the Electoral Code of Conduct. IEBC says it found the two responsible for orchestrating the violence that has been witnessed in Kasipul constituency during the campaigns.
IEBC Commissioner Moses Mukwana said on Wednesday that the violence in Kasipul constituency has led to the deaths of 2 people, with several injured. IEBC, while finding the 2 politicians, warned that candidates or parties found breaking the code of conduct culpably will be disqualified from the November 27th mini-polls.
Mr. Philip Aroko, for the violation, is hereby condemned to pay a fine of Kenya shillings 1 million to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission within 48 hours of these orders. D, that Mr. Boyd Were Ngondo is condemned similarly for the violation to pay a fine of Kenya shillings 1 million to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission within 48 hours of these orders.
IEBC emphasized on the need to ensure all candidates are accorded a level playing field and can campaign freely.
Should any violation of the Electoral Code be repeated by any of them, this committee will consider all penalties under the law, including, with emphasis, their disqualification from participating in the November 27th by-elections altogether. They ought to declare and speak to their supporters that violence will not be accepted.
Boyd Were and Philip Aroko, who signed a peace charter, committed to upholding peace during the campaign period, saying they are optimistic that the people of Kasipul will make the right decision come November 27th.
I want to urge my supporters, I want to urge all candidates in the Kasipul by-elections, all residents of Kasipul, let's maintain peace. Let's embrace each other. It's only 1 week to the by-elections.
Anything that will give peace for the people of Kasipul. That also commits here that the moment the right thing will be done by the commission, by the able commission, the Kasipul people will have their choice and peace will prevail going forward.
The political contest in Kasipul has attracted a host of candidates, but it is the 2 nemesis whose campaign appears to have been marred by sporadic violence.
To the corridors of justice, and the High Court has on Wednesday freed Nancy Kigunzu, popularly known as Mathe Wangara, after overturning a previous decision that denied her bond. Justice James Wakiaga ruled the lower court did not provide sufficient reasons to continue holding her, especially considering she has already spent time in remand over earlier drug-related cases. Mathe, who has been in custody since August this year, faces charges of possessing more than 18 kilograms of cannabis valued at 6 million shillings. Details in the Scales of Justice segment.
Nancy Kigunzu's legal trouble dates back to 2023, when she was first arrested over drug trafficking and spent several months in remand before securing bail. In the latest case, she was arrested in August for allegedly having 18.3 kilograms of cannabis worth an estimated 6 million shillings. She and 2 co-accused face charges of trafficking and conspiracy to traffic narcotics. While her co-accused were released on 1 million shilling bond, Kigunzu remained in custody after JKIA magistrate Rene Gitwanga denied her bail, citing her prior brushes with the law. Her lawyers appealed the ruling, assuring the court she will comply with all conditions. Wednesday, Justice James Wakiaga allowed the appeal, granting her 500,000 shillings bond with a surety of the same amount. He ordered her to report to the investigating officer every 30 days and warned her against committing similar offences while the case continues. In a separate matter, the High Court declines to suspend directives by EPRA and the Nairobi County Government that prohibits matatus from picking up and dropping off passengers inside petrol stations in Nairobi's CBD. 13 SACCOs argue the move threatens their operation, could disrupt festive season travel and risk job losses.
My petition before you, it is targeted to EPRA, that has given an eviction notice to cease operations immediately. If that notice...
So who is EPRA in the other petition?
He is an interested party.
EPRA maintains that PSV operations in petrol stations are a safety hazard and violate fuel handling regulations. Justice Chachamucha has directed all parties to file responses within 14 days, with the case set for mention on January 26, 2026.
Parties, you have 14 days to file your responses to the application and the petition. And once the petitioners are served, they will have 14 days within which to file a supplementary affidavit if need be, together with written submissions, which should not exceed 10 pages.
Lawyers have been ordered to meet within 7 days to agree on temporary arrangements and report back on December 1st, 2025.
Ulikuja kwetu 2022 ukatuambia hii serikali tuende pamoja na tunasema kwamba na wewe pamoja. Sisi tunashindwa. Ni nini imekuwa shinda? Kwa nini County Assembly ya Nairobi inatudhulumu? Kwa nini Kiptoo mwenye ni DG wa IPRA mwenye ni wewe mwajiri anatudhulumu? Tafadhali Bwana Rais, ongea na watu wako waache kutudhulumu. Asante.
Letua Debra for Prime Edition.
My Lord, I hear you.
17 minutes past the top of the hour, due for our fast break. We'll circle back with plenty more, including business and sports. Stay put.
He said no, and he said he was going to send.
For 25 years, one institution has stood guard over Kenya's retirement future. This November the 20th, the Retirement Benefits Authority marks a quarter century of service and impact, a legacy of growing and safeguarding retirement benefits for millions of Kenyans. Join us at the Kenyatta International Convention Center as we reflect on the past, celebrate the present, and shape strategies for tomorrow. The chief guest will be the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Honorable John Badi. The celebrations will be broadcast live on KBC Channel 1, KBC Digital, and across RBA's social media platforms from 8:30 a.m. This year's theme, Securing Dignity in Retirement. Lessons from the past, strategies for tomorrow. RBA at 25. Celebrating the past, securing the future. When the hills gave way in Marakwet, thousands were left with nothing. But together, we can help them rise again. Join KBC in the Restore Hope, Restore Earth campaign, Unity in Adversity. Together for Marakwet. Donate through paybill number 522533, account number 8036543, or drop foodstuffs and supplies at Marakwet County offices. Every shilling, every tree, every act of kindness counts. KBC, bringing Kenyans together.
In Congo, I'd like to report to you. This group has a total of 21 members.
Right.
13 of them will stay in Kasser, and the other 8 have already gone to Zamagnab.
President Congo, if the members of the new team are able to adapt to life in Sana quickly, I am sure things will go well.
What's wrong? Is there only one doctor on the night shift? I don't know. Hurry, hurry.
Don't normally give injections. The famous Dr. Pong will give you a shot, and you'll be better right away. Hey, stay awake.
What is going on here?
Do you think this is Bad Boys movie? Didn't I make it clear? By not following his advice and giving yourself an injection, you were disrespecting him and the hospital.
He was in that coffee shop. Don't you remember that I told you that I had seen your aunt with a very handsome man? That's him.
How could I care about someone I don't know? And someone that I don't trust at all.
My name is Marcelo, not Rodrigo.
You're a lot worse than he was.
Are you really sure your daughter has not told you yet that we are going to be grandparents soon?
You're hurting me.
Huh? You stay here. I'm not done with you yet, understand?
Tell me what's going on. Stop beating around the bush.
Go ahead, tell him. Go ahead and tell my dad what kind of a man Marcelo Escalante is.
Welcome back. We continue to inform you. And the ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran to Kenya, Dr. Ali Gholamfwa, has pledged his country's support in the treatment of kidney patients in the country. Kalampwa was speaking at the opening of new dialysis center and maternity wing at the Iran Hospital in Nairobi. The Ministry of Health Director of Curative and Clinic Services, Dr. Andrew Toro, welcomed the initiative, saying it will help ease the congestion of patients at dialysis centers.
Our new facilities, one of them is a hemodialysis center with 12 machines, which is supported with 12 machines.
And therefore, we are very happy with the new partnership we have here. Why? Because then we'll be able to do more screening for our patients.
We are inviting investors from around the world to focus on medical facilities and equipment. It is the only way that we can become a medical hub.
The more facilities that are opened across the country that are providing similar technical services, the closer services get to the people, and therefore the better the kind of care that especially patients who require chronic care will receive.
To work closely with the inline ministries and authorities in the Republic of Kenya and with the assistance of the government of Kenya to expand and spill over all these facilities around the Kenya in different places, in rural areas, in remote places.
To our weekly feature, Cinemas and Theatre, it's a story of secrets, sisterhood, and the fine line between love and pain. Tonight on Cinemas and Theatre, we turn the spotlight on Off Chords and Discords, a female-led psychological thriller play that follows two sisters, Joanne and Jane, whose long-buried secrets and emotional scars resurface during a tense reunion. Details with our reporter, Jacqueline Masharia.
That after cuts and dog bites, human bites are the third most recorded bites in hospitals.
No, I didn't. Wait, is that a bite?
Off Chords and Discord is a female-led, slow-burn psychological thriller play set in real time, produced by Prevail Presents Kenya.
Listen, it's okay to cry. It's okay to let it all out.
The story follows two sisters, Joanne and Jane, whose long-buried secrets and emotional scars resurface during a tense reunion.
Biting my belt till I was 10, but who's counting?
I mean, by the time I get into sex...
Just drop it, Jane. I don't want to spend the whole evening talking about kids' pistage. And you know I can't stand kids.
After a scandal involving Joanne's Afro-jazz musician husband threatens to ruin her reputation, she calls her sister Jane for support.
What is that? In the sink! What is that? It's a lot of blood.
Yes, that must have been Ken.
But when Jane arrives, she realizes this isn't just about bad press, it's about truths too painful to face.
It's a whodunit when it comes to the type of play it is. Whodunit is technically a thriller or a drama around a murder of some sort. Yeah? So we are really trying to find out who did it. But it sits on themes around deceit, betrayal, of course, love, no wonder the discord bit of the title. And the chords more or less pursue the entertainment side, you know, because it plays in the house of a musician.
The production stars Mary Mwikali as Joanne, a woman in crisis, and Celestine Gashuhe as Jane, the sister whose calm exterior hides deep-seated pain.
Bath to them, you feed them, you groom them. Then you give them the whole world. And they play with it for a bit.
Both actresses admit that preparing for their roles demanded emotional depth, introspection, and intense character study.
Obvious one is we've been intensely rehearsing for this, you know, just understanding the backgrounds, where we are at, and the kind of emotions we carry, and the kind of person that Joanne is, understanding all of that. So a lot of rehearsals. Other than that, there's a lot of probably watching other things that are already out there that will help you probably grow. Because this is a role that I've never played before. I've never played a role that has crazy emotions moving from one to another really fast, and it being a two-hander also expands me as an actor.
Being a two-hander, I've not done this before. The fact that it's two women on stage, it's crazy in so many ways. It's, my God, it's duf-duf, it's furaha, it's all those things. So it's challenging, but it's challenging in a good way.
The director, Martin Kigondu, notes of Chords and Discord is his ode to women, describing it as an emotional mirror reflecting how family ties can both heal and destroy.
When I first got the idea of this, it was right after I'd done my play Matchstick Men, which focuses on themes around relationships between men, in terms of brother to brother, or son and father, or father and, And I remember it was very well received, especially the psychosis around it, because we were looking at the mental states of men. But it also had very heavy drama around it. And one of the questions that came was, why don't you do one for the ladies? And I was like, I don't want to force one, but when the story comes and when the time comes, I will.
I feel something. Yes! I am high on being a woman. Oh my God. I am high on being smart and gorgeous and rich and famous. Huh? I wonder if you're related. What is this? Ew.
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
Time for your business news now, and attention shifts to the cabinet after the Senate approved the proposed leasing of the pyrethrum processing company of Kenya to a private operator. Appearing before the Senate, Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe revealed that PPCK was no longer financially sustainable.
The report of the Auditor General on the Pyrethrum Processing Company of Kenya, year ended 30th June 2023, gave a qualified opinion on the company's financial statements. Current liabilities stood at 1.61 billion, while current assets were at 666 million, creating a negative working capital of 946 million shillings. During the same year, the company recorded a loss of approximately 83.58 million shillings. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe noted that the negative working capital, large deficits, low plant utilization, idle capital assets have undermined PPCK's financial sustainability.
Mr. Speaker, farmers themselves are owed only about 10 million shillings, which is essentially the payments from August, November, August, September, and October, which we have not managed to pay, but which we are to pay.
They revealed that the proposed leasing model had the backing of the company's employees and is designed to bring in private capital, modern technology, and stronger management systems. Under the proposed structure, a private operator will take over the PPCK's processing functions, pay farmers promptly, and upgrade outdated machinery to lower costs and raise extraction efficiency.
Date, we have not sold the assets. And of course, once it agrees that we license organization, we will need to go through valuation of the assets again.
This is expected to improve farm gate prices, restore confidence among growers, and rebuild Kenya's presence in the global pyrethrum market.
This is the way forward. If you look at the privately licensed or the private organizations in the country, they are managing to survive.
The decision now lies with the cabinet on whether privatization will take place to unlock private sector investment, stabilize the value chain, and protect both farmers and employees. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
And the government has crafted a raft of proposals on SACCO leadership as it seeks to rein in on errant directors. Under proposed Cooperatives Bill 2024, anyone seeking a third term in a directorship position will need the votes of 2/3 of the society. Cooperatives Cabinet CS Wycliffe Oparanya says the scrapping of term limits has been opposed by the society's leadership on account that it will derail progress and projects initiated by leaders.
The Senate has removed the capping of term limits for SACCO members in the cooperative bill that is currently in the House after the National Assembly proposed SACCO leaders to only vie for 2 terms. The national government is proposing the article to be revised and allow leaders to run for more than 2 terms. Cooperative Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya proposes leaders seeking to run for more than 2 terms to get mandate from more than 2/3 of SACCO members.
We are hopeful that this decision will be met as soon as possible, because the middle ground for the ministry is that we have 2 terms, but if you want to renew any term, the 2 terms you can have simple majority, elected by a simple majority. But if you want to renew any further term, then you need 2/3 majority. And that's the middle ground that we are suggesting as a ministry.
Oparanya says this is in line with global best practices that will see SACCO members have more say on their leadership.
This is one way of good governance. We say that if you are there, you take things for granted. You overstay until you take even small things, serious things, you take it for granted, and sometimes things go wrong. And that's why we are saying that it is up to the legislators to agree.
Let your voice be there. Let this, if you say 2.5 terms, 3.5 terms, let your voice be there. Do not let other people define, because the wearer of the shoe is the one who knows, and the wearer is in the shoe. The leaders are mostly in this room.
Now where we are, the man from Parliament has said there is no way we can go and negotiate. We can only negotiate outside. I think it will be good for us, we agree that for the good of the movement, can we drop that issue of term limit and allow them to come with a term limit within their bylaws? And then we can review that after 6 years.
The national government has also defended its decision to start delegating system as a voting and policy measure for SACCO, saying it will ensure decisions are reached faster and reduce voting costs.
By electing the delegates, those are their power. They are electing people who will go and make decisions for themselves. It's like members of parliament are elected by the people to go and make decisions in the National Assembly and in the Senate. It does not mean that people have lost their powers.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Legislators have raised concerns over the lack of accountability and transparency in Kenya's energy sector. The Senate says pricing and awarding of power purchase agreements is still shrouded in secrecy, denying consumers cheaper energy. The Energy CS has told the Senate that reforming the tendering process and revamping the national grid will deliver a more stable and affordable electricity system.
The power sector has faced persistent scrutiny over high electricity prices, aging transmission infrastructure, reliance on costly thermal plants, and opaque contracts with independent power producers.
What measures have been put in place to make sure there will be no corruption this time around, that there will be no onerous terms that have been put on those IPPs for Kenyans to enjoy low power costs? I think
first time now, these PPAs will only come into force upon approval by the Attorney General, something that was never the case before. That enhances transparency, Honorable Speaker, to a very, very large extent. Again, for the first time, Honorable Speaker, from the recommendation of that committee's report, these PPAs will be pegged on both Kenya shillings and dollars.
Wandai also outlined a series of long-term investments aimed at stabilizing the country's power supply and expanding access, among them the third phase of Africa Development Bank funding valued at 12 billion shillings, which will support electrification initiatives across 35 counties.
For the first time, this country is looking at a clear case of establishing a nuclear power plant. And we are more than determined that by the year 2027, 2028, we should be doing some groundbreaking, Honorable Speaker. And that nuclear power plant, Honorable Speaker, is going initially to produce some 5,000 megawatts.
The Cabinet Secretary, however, avoided directly addressing questions from senators on how Kenya Power plans to recover nearly 30 billion shillings spent on rural electrification projects undertaken by the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, citing the matter as an internal issue for the utility.
This is basically money that is owed to Kenya Power by REREC for the purpose of for maintenance of lines, and it's something which we are dealing with internally.
Trevor Nyendo for Prime Edition.
Shop. Don't you remember that I told you that I had seen your aunt with a very handsome man? That's him.
How could I care about someone I don't know? And someone that I don't trust at all?
My name is Marcelo, not Rodrigo.
You're a lot worse than he was.
Are you really sure your daughter has not told you yet that we are going to be grandparents soon?
Lea Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Kila mwisho wa juma kwenye runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1.
Tunakuletea Mkulima.
Ni kipindi cha kila mtu.
Iwe wewe ni mkulima mdogo, mkulima mkubwa, muuzaji au mnunuzi,
au yeyote anayenuia kuanzisha kilimo ama ufugaji.
Tunaanza kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
fursa za kibiashara, kuongeza thamani, pamoja na teknolojia za kuboresha kilimo.
Ni chakula ambao kwetu sisi inatuletea mapato mazuri, watoto wanasoma vizuri.
Mkulima kisasa inakupa maarifa,
motisha na suluhu za kurahisisha mazao,
kuongeza kipato na kulisha taifa kwa ujumla.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30,
ambapo kilimo na fursa zinapatikana.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako.
Welcome back. Now, the Kenya Commercial Bank Group has posted 47.3 billion in profit after tax for the 9 months ended September 2025. The bank says this was powered by higher income across business lines and proper overhead management. The balance sheet expanded by 2.6% to 2 trillion shillings, despite the sale of the National Bank of Kenya in May 2025.
With the divestiture of NBK in May, KCB's asset base expanded to 2.04 trillion shillings, a modest 2.6% increase. However, on a like-for-like basis, including the efforts of the sale, the group recorded a robust 10.9% growth in assets, underscoring the depth of its capital and the resilience of its operation across 7 markets. That resilience is most visible in the performance of KCB's regional subsidiaries, which accounted for 35% of the group's profit before tax and 31% of total assets during the period. Despite those headwinds, KCB delivered a 4.5% rise in total revenue to 149.4 billion shillings. Net interest income remained the workhorse of the business, growing by 12.4% to 104.3 billion shillings, supported by a 7% expansion in the loan book to 1.24 trillion shillings. The bank maintained a deliberate focus on sectors driving real economic activity, including construction, agriculture, manufacturing, and energy. Non-funded income, though weighed down by market factors, still contributed just over 30% of total revenue, helped in part by the group's upgraded mobile banking platform, which has driven higher customer activity and provided a timely boost to digital transactions. For shareholders, the lender delivered strong returns, posting a return on equity of 21.6% and a return on asset of 3.1%. Shareholders' equity now stands at 308.5 billion shillings.
Kenya's dominance in premium export markets could weaken if disease control does not keep pace with evolving challenges. Rising fungal diseases and tightening export standards are threatening the country's multi-billion shilling flour economy. Kateva Agri-Science, Kenya's business lead, Charles Mutema, is urging growers to adopt more advanced tools to protect their roses from increasingly aggressive infections. Mutema says powdery mildew and botrys are no longer routine threats. They are now powerful disruptors capable of triggering costly quality downgrades and shipment rejections in Europe. With competitors such as Ethiopia expanding production and emerging producers gaining traction, innovation is fast becoming essential for maintaining Kenya's edge in the international flour trade.
The flour sector faces a myriad of challenges, diseases, pests, and also nematodes. And one of the primary diseases is powdery mildew. And powdery mildew happens to be actually taking about 30% of the area of the farmers have to manage.
If we are able to let the farmers get this money or have the money, they can invest more and expand their businesses. I think the policies that can support that, support the farmers to expand and grow more and employ more Kenyans, I think that the kind of policies that we need.
Flowers and anything for export, of course, plays a huge, even a bigger role in terms of us getting some foreign exchange or foreign inflows coming in. So by us being able to provide a solution here, we are actually protecting this segment of the economy.
There's an urgent need to educate communities on the complexities of carbon contracts to ensure they are not just subjects of the new green economy, but empowered to negotiate their fair terms for their crucial role in protecting the planet. Power Up Regional Coordinator Brian Omenyi warns that without the direct involvement of the people who offer lands for conservation and carbon projects, the multi-billion shilling industry risks being exploitative. Our reporter Ndota Mokami, who is in Brazil attending the COP30, has more on this story.
Carbon market allows polluters to offset their emissions by buying credits from projects that protect the environment, such as forests or planting trees. But as this new green gold rush takes off, a critical question emerges. Who truly benefits? Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, governing global carbon markets, has been a central focus at the ongoing COP30 summit in Belém, Brazil. A key outcome here has been a stronger global push for transparency and benefit sharing. Delegates are finalizing new integrity standards to ensure carbon credits represent real emission reductions and that benefits trickle down to the local levels.
Of course, the regulations are good because they are coming in to ensure that the industry is not left open-handed, because that is what had been the case where communities were being taken advantage of. But I think the gaps in the policy is that they're not really community-centered. The communities who especially are the ones who are affected with this, the climate crisis, and who the projects are going to be undertaken in their regions or in their lands, were not involved to give, to contribute to the policy processes. And this leaves so many gaps that have exposed the communities.
This global spotlight increases pressure on Kenya to get its domestic regulations right.
We need to really have regulations that are people-centered, that are really taking into account the interests of the communities to ensure that they are not being taken advantage of, but the projects are truly going to sustain them and to support them.
For carbon credit markets to be sustainable and just, robust legal frameworks must be paired with proper awareness campaigns.
As Kenya expands its carbon market regulations, education becomes essential, not just for protection or compliance, but for the safeguarding of our planet. Reporting from Belém in Brazil for KBC Channel 1, my name is Ndota Mokami.
Thank you, Ndota Mokami, for that report. Now we take another very quick breather. We come back with some sporting action. Bernard Okumu is on the other side for that, so stick around for that sports news.
Je, wewe ni mpenda soka? Na je, wajua kuwa KBC mwenzio wako wa dhati mchezoni anakujali? Ndio maana KBC Channel 1 hukuletea taarifa na uchambuzi wa soka.
CAF ndio wamechukua usukani
humu nchini, barani Afrika na ugaibuni, ikiwemo EPL, Serie A, Bundesliga na ligi zingine. Mashabiki pia hutuzwa kwa kujibu maswali kuhusiana na soka.
Swali letu la leo.
Haya yote ni kwenye kipindi cha Dunda Dunda kwenye KBC Channel 1 kila Ijumaa kuanzia saa 5 asubuhi hadi saa 6:30 mchana.
Nawahimiza Wakenya waendelee watch Dunda Dunda show.
KBC, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Get ready to feel the rush of the open road. From 19th till 23rd November, the African Road Cycling Championships come to Kwale County. Watch Africa's fastest cyclists from all over the continent battle it out on Kenya's stunning coast. Be there to cheer the champions or catch every thrilling moment live on TV. Don't miss it. The African Road Cycling Championships from 19th till 23rd November in Kwale County.
And thank you for staying with us. It is time for the latest from the sports world with me, Bernard Okumu. Let's begin with what's happening in Tokyo, where Team Kenya continued with the impressive performance at the 2025 Deaf Olympics in Tokyo, Japan, after James Mwanza Musembi won the 1500 meters race today to add another gold medal to Kenya's tally. Now, the 21-year-old athlete from Machakos County stormed to victory in 3 minutes 45.61 seconds. His compatriot, Elikana Kiproprono, won the silver medal. In the women's 1500 meters, Kenya's Sharon Bitok Jeptarus settled for bronze in a race won by Julia Emilivina, followed by Mira Da Silva. Other Kenyans in the race, Viola Jelimo and Rebecca Matiko, finished 9th and 14th respectively. Kenya has now bagged a total of 7 medals in the games, 2 gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze medals.
Nimefaulu kwa hii mbio na nasherekea. Nafurahi kupata medali. Hakika ni jambo la kushangilia. Asante sana.
When we were starting, I just decided to go very fast
because my goal was to get a medal, and I was able to get a silver.
And over 316 top athletes from across Africa will compete in the second edition of CAC Road Cycling Africa Championship, set to begin tomorrow in Diani, Kwale County. Now, the competition brings together 31 countries, 9 more countries than the 22 that competed in last year's event held in Nandi, Uasin Gishu, and Elgeyo Marakwet counties, which attracted 186 athletes. The event was launched today by Cabinet Secretary for Sport Salim Mvurya, who said the growth of the race was a symbol that Kenya has the capacity to host world-class international events. The event will end on the 23rd of this month.
The president has been very, very particular on matters sports, that we need to put all our investments in investing in the disciplines. You know, disciplines that were not recognized before, we need to bring them forward. And that is why cycling now is going to be a major thing, but also as a mode of sustainable green mobility.
And remember that the second edition of the Africa Cycling Championship will be beamed live here on KBC Channel 1 beginning tomorrow. And to basketball, where Kenya's Nairobi City Thunder will take on Johannesburg Giants tomorrow as they fight for a place in the semi-final of the BAL Elite 16 East Division at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. City Thunder opened their campaign with a comfortable 89-62 win over Blazers of Uganda and will hope to secure another, the better of the opponents by narrow 2 points, winning 89-87. 2 matches will be played before City Thunder takes on to the court tomorrow. Brave Hearts will face Matero in the opening game as Dar City face Ferroviario in the second game.
And up and good for... And before that free...
And Fatma Zarika has vowed to live up to her Iron Fist nickname when she faces Tanzania's Halima Vunajebi in their super featherweight bout scheduled for Friday at Mass House, Ngong Road. The bouts, organized by Kala Koda Boxing Promotions, will also feature 10 other fights. Former WBC Super Bantamweight champion Fatma Zarika will be targeting to return to the ring for the first time in almost a year, hoping to clinch a win against Halima Vunajebi when the two face off in an 8-round super featherweight bout. Zarika boasts of 34 wins and 14 losses in 50 professional fights.
Unajua kila mtu akona nini yake. Unajua kuna mtu mwenye anataka kujua opponent, kuna mwenye hataki kujua opponent. Mimi kivyangu si lazima nijue opponent. Nacheza vile opponent yuko. Unaona? So mimi nakuwa nimejitayarisha venye naweza cheza. Vile atakuja ndio vile nitamchezea. So I think hiyo ni kitu nzuri kwangu mimi kivyangu.
Meanwhile, Rayton Okwiri will take on Ugandan Mohamed Sebiala in the 8-round middleweight fight, also eyeing a win. Just like Zarika, Okwiri will also be returning to the ring since September 2024 when he fought in Mauritius, and will be out to extend his impressive record, having won 11 bouts and lost only once.
Promote wa game kubwa ambayo kama hii ya Kala Koda. So ningeambia Wakenya wengi wakuje watu support, na nafikiri hiyo siku makiondo zitakuwa zinalia tu.
Joshua Sike, who lost only his first fight in 5 matches, will be seeking to bounce back against Tanzanian opponent Shaban Karuneka in a heavyweight fight, while South Africa's Felix Lojenberg, who recently turned pro, will be out for a perfect debut when he faces Kenya's Jeremy Deche in the welterweight division.
Russia ni lanalot, so kwa hii ni kama, let's say ni kama walkover hii, juu nime-prepare fit na nime-learn experience more there.
Brahim Ouma and Robert Agengo will slug it out in an undercard middleweight exhibition fight.
Passion of boxing a few months ago. Many of you know me as an actor. You've seen me on billboards, on YouTube ads. But on Friday night, I want to show you guys another side of me. And I want this old man here to retire. It's about time he gives us space for the young guys to take over. So to all my supporters, if you're coming to support me, make sure you put on a red outfit. because we're shedding blood. Let's see who's shedding blood, and let's see if I'm going to retire. Sindio? So Friday 21st is going to be fire.
The weigh-in is set to be held tomorrow ahead of the bouts organized by Kalakoda Promotions on Friday. And Equity Bank chess team made their grand debut in the 2025 FIDE World Corporate Chess Championship in Goa, India, where they gave a good account of themselves as Greco from Ukraine was crowned the champions. Now Greco executed a chess masterclass, clinching the world title with a dominant 3.5 to 0.5 victory over Morgan Stanley in a decisive second match. Deloa secured the bronze medal, demonstrating consistent strength throughout the tournament to overcome Google in a hard-fought contest. Kenya and Africa were represented by Equity, who etched their name in history, completing a resilient and globally impactful campaign on the championship's grand stage, but failed to make it to the semi-finals.
Congratulations.
And ASEC Mimosas will face AS FAR Rabat in the final of the CAF Women's Champions League after edging out FC Masar 1-0 at the Suez Canal Stadium in Egypt. 22-year-old forward AC Dagba found the back of the net deep in the second half to book a spot in the final of ASEC Mimosas in their historic debut campaign. FC Masar pushed forward in search of an equalizer, but ASEC's defensive composure ensured they preserved the advantage to the final whistle. In the other semi-final match, AS FAR eliminated the defending champions TP Mazembe 4-2 in a penalty shootout following a goalless draw. They'll face ASEC Mimosa in the final this Friday to determine if they will lift the trophy for a second time.
Ball into the box. Not cleared yet. Oh, it finds the back of the net. And there's no denying this one. It's a magisterial shot. Essie Matilda Dagba. Where did that come from? Needs to score to keep the reigning champions.
And definitely we wish all the two teams all the best as they battle for the supremacy in the Africa Women's Champions League finals. That's how we do it on the Sports Desk from this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernardo Kumu. I hand you back to Doreen to put a cap on today's edition.
Thank you, Okumu, for that. And now, as enshrined in Article 132 of the Kenyan Constitution, the President is mandated every year to once give the State of the Nation address to a bicameral sitting of Parliament. And he'll be doing that at 2:30 p.m. at the National Assembly. And KBC Channel 1 is where to keep it glued for that address tomorrow. This has been KBC Prime Edition. I'm Doreen Arange. Lucy Maura has been our sign language interpreter. Stick around for all the reggae vibes in Ayad Show coming up next. Good night.
For charity, dial *419 hash.
Nakuona.
Kuja hivi sasa.
Mama,
usingoje. Ngoja. Oya.
What is wrong? What is wrong? Buddha. Siku umedial star 419 hash. Shika. Yani hujui kwa option 3 kuna Probox. Probox. Usisahau kwa star 419 hash option 3 iko Probox ya bahati, na ikikuangukia ufunguo utakufikia mahali popote ulipo. Usisahau.